Hey, it's Jack, no K, Jack in the Attic. Today's a regular old project update. I feel like I haven't filmed one of these in forever, but it's actually been like 2 weeks. I'm experimenting with going back to using like bullet points so I remember what I want to talk about, because editing is getting really tedious when I allow myself to just go on weird tangents and say stuff that doesn't make any sense. So there may be some more like concise, coherent videos in the future. The first note I wrote down specifically because I did not want to forget, because I hyped up this yarn. I do still like it quite a bit. It's very soft. It's nice to work with, but I do have a caveat and an update and a warning, basically. So this is the K&C Wool Luxe Superwash yarn from Joann. My issues with dye lot continue, but dye lot aside, I have had to do surgery on this now twice. So it's not an issue with the yarn itself, it's an issue with the factory joins. It's just kind of like barely twisted together. Don't trust it. Just cut that little join out and treat it as if you're joining a brand new ball of yarn. It's not worth doing. It's not worth risking this falling apart while you wash it. And because it is superwash, I have been throwing it in the washer, and that's why it's super fuzzy and it's definitely gonna pill, but that's on me. That was my choice. I am still really loving this shawl. I'm very glad to have finished it just in time for the weather to get super cold. My goal before next winter is to have my cold weather accessories collection really filled out. I know we talked about that a little bit, that a lot of my things that would be winter accessories are made out of like cotton and linen, so they're not actually warm, and I have to resolve that. So this is a great step in the right direction. Also, the brioche bandana cowl that I finished recently and showed in my last update video, I have been wearing it a lot. And it is absolutely accurate what I said about it being more of an indoor accessory and less of a keeping you warm in the winter outdoors type accessory. But that's, I'm not going outside. Should we do a drink check? This is Earl Grey that I've turned into sort of a makeshift Lady Grey with some bottled lemon juice. I have been getting loose tea from nuts.com. I'm a huge fan of nuts.com, and I'm pleasantly surprised by their Earl Grey. It's very nice. Oh, and my Dobus PR mug. So the next thing that I have been working on, it's kind of a mess because there are 3 balls of yarn attached to it right now. I had to take a little break from the 6 feet under crochet scarf pattern test that I'm working on right now, because my shoulder just kind of exploded. I crocheted for about an hour, stood up, and had like, I can't say some of the worst shoulder pain of my life because that's not true, but it felt like the bursitis that I've been working through since like June just came back full force, kind of in a different spot too. So I'm really taking it easy. Haven't crocheted in like a week. I would like to get back into it today, do a few minutes and see how I feel. Take frequent breaks, probably. So yeah, crochet does tend to be harder on my joints than knitting does for some reason. Not for some reason, it's the movements. Crochet is bigger movements for me and it involves more joints. I get heart rate alerts on my watch when I crochet every time, so it's just like a very physical activity somehow. So that's all to say, I have made progress on this, but not in the last week. So I did get to the point where I switched directions so that the coffins will be right side up either way. I really don't have much left to do on this one. I intend to start and end on a black section, So this first white inverted coffin where this splits is actually going to be the center back, if that makes any sense. So I have, ooh, I have more left than I thought. I have 5 more of these rectangle panels left. Unless I decide that I don't need to end on black. I don't know. That's not too terribly much. This pattern test doesn't end until January 31st. So I know I'll be able to get it done as long as my shoulder cooperates. I think worst case scenario, I can take pictures of what I have now, but I wouldn't have accurate like yarn amounts that I used. I wouldn't have all of the information I want to. I don't want to cut a pattern test short, but I also don't want to hurt myself, so I will definitely test that out today, see what I can tolerate, because I am feeling much better. Also, both of the yarns I just talked about, this whole scarf is the K&C Essential Cotton, and then the shawl is the K&C Wool Luxe Superwash. Both of those are Joann exclusive yarns, so I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I know Joann is not gone yet. I know they have until, was it like late February, early March? I heard middle of March and then it changed, but whatever, they have a couple of months, a month plus to find a buyer, but I know one of the buyers interested is like a liquidator who would just sell it off piece by piece, like shut it down and sell it off piece by piece. So things are not looking good, and I know they haven't been looking good for a while, so I'm not too terribly surprised, but I am sad. Unfortunately, there isn't really even a Michael's near me, and I'm not going to Hobby Lobby. I still love my local yarn stores, of course, but you know. And speaking of crochet, if I can tolerate crochet again in small amounts, I'm thinking about, for my sister's birthday present, also, if you are my sister, you have to leave now, because I'm going to talk about it. Are you gone? Okay, so my big drapey mesh cardigan that I wear all the time and I talk about all the time. Hold on. This one, you've seen it. You know this one with the X stitch, the one that I wear constantly. I'm thinking about making like a cropped version of this, not as oversized, but cropped with like sort of closer ribbing at the cuff so that the sleeves are a little bit puffy. Maybe a hood. I think that would be very cool. And I think my sister would like it. My sister is very much like me, or I am very much like my sister, more accurately. So I feel like that would be well received. The pattern I used for that cardigan is a free one from Your Inspirations. I know I've talked about this in like 3 or 4 different videos, but it couldn't hurt to say it again. Is the free crochet mesh cardigan pattern from Your Inspirations. It's one that they put out around the time of the Barbie movie. So the examples are all pink. You have to use your imagination. I love mine. The thing I've been working on the most is definitely the Hylia dress. I feel like I've gotten so much done, but I know that there are miles and miles of stockinette ahead of me, so here's where I'm at with that. Oh, I need to lint roll this. Okay, so there's no getting rid of the cat hair, but I can minimize the cat hair. So I finished the bodice section, including the neck, not including the button placket in the front. I have it stitch markered together so that I could try it on and get a sense of the fit. I still want to add sleeves, but I've run into the realization of maybe a problem there, and that is, this is not built for sleeves, and I didn't think to accommodate that by having sort of a shallower armhole. 'Cause I don't know that I can add a sleeve to that. That's a lot. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking about that. I don't know if maybe I could cast on for a sleeve like I normally would do some creative decreasing and then just do a straight sleeve. I don't like a tapered sleeve. Or what if this just becomes the coolest, hugest, most billowy sleeve and that's good? I don't know that that's the best idea. That would be a lot of yarn too. I know I did buy a little bit of extra, a medium amount of extra for this piece, but I don't know that I have leg of mutton sleeve extra yarn, you know? So as I expected, every single row of the skirt takes forever, but that's okay. I have no idea how to estimate size or distance or duration of time or ages of people or anything to do with a number, so couldn't tell you how much of the skirt I've done. 3-4 inches? 3.5, 4 inches, something like that. Whatever. It's going well, the top fits well. I'm just gonna keep plugging away at this because it's a long-term knit for sure. Once again, I would like to have this finished before spring really sets in, so I can at least wear it a couple times in the colder weather because it is a cotton merino wool blend. But there's always next year. And there's always the weird 40-degree day in May, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. The Autumn Leaves linear top, I know I said I was putting that sort of on a hiatus, but I have been working on it a little bit. It's just stockinette, so the update I'm going to show you is not really anything exciting. It's still just stockinette, but some progress. Very happy with how it's turning out. I think in person it's a little more green. It's showing up a little more brown on camera. Whatever, I love it. I have this much yarn left of this skein, and I'm basically, because it is 2 panels, I'm just gonna keep knitting until I almost run out of yarn. I would like for the back panel to be a little bit longer so that it sits higher up on the back of the neck and like fits like a shaped top instead of 2 rectangles. So I'm going to knit this one until it is almost done. Like, I'm gonna leave a few grams out and use that for seaming in the end, and then the other skein I will knit the entire thing so that it's a little bit longer than this one. That's my plan. So this has ended up being the project that goes in my work bag, and I don't go to the office that often, but when I do, I am a huge driving hater. I'm a traffic hater. I will hang out at work until the majority of traffic is over, so it's great to have a little project in my bag. The other tiny little project I'm working on, just sort of on the side, this is my second one. I finished one and I'm using it, and it is a washcloth, so I don't think I should show you my used washcloth. So you're gonna have to use your imagination a little tiny bit. Just bear with me here. So, washcloth that is narrow and long and has a little loop on it. The last one I made was a little bit wider than this, and I actually think I might start this one over to make it a little bit wider. Point being, with shoulder pain issues, I figured something long that I could use without like contorting my arms around too much would be very helpful for me, and I was 100% correct. The one that I've already finished has been so helpful. The timing was perfect because I finished it like right after my shoulder got really bad again. So that has been very helpful. This is the Lion brand Pima cotton. It is extremely soft. In the ball, it's not like crazy soft. It's still soft for cotton, but once you wash it, it's even softer. So no clue why I have this yarn, where it came from. It's been in my stash for years. But yeah, making a second one because the first one worked out so well. And I'm carrying this around in my little leaf bowl that I got from the thrift store a couple weeks ago. It does say dishwasher and microwave safe, but with the shape of it, I don't know how great it's gonna be for food. I could see this holding a bunch of grapes really well. I don't know. I don't know, I just saw it and I loved it. So I put yarn in it. Oh, one more thing before I forget. In my storage video, I showed a little cardboard box that was just an insert to take up space in a box of Magic the Gathering cards. That was holding my little extra knitting bits. I recently received, you're not ready for this. This man, this horrible man, I say that with so much love. He's incredible and perfect, and he's horrible. Now he is a little pouch and he holds my extra little knitting bits. So my double pointed needles and my cable holder needles and extra like fixed cable needles that I have from long ago, and some extra interchangeable needles that don't fit in the case because I got duplicates of a couple of the needle sizes that I use most often. So the duplicates are in here, in this guy. So I just wanted to share him with you. He was a gift. I have no idea where he came from. Good luck trying to find this man. So the other thing, I don't have anything to show you for this right now because I have been focusing on shoulder recovery first, my other pattern test second. But I'm going to be pattern testing the Luna Moth shawl for Knitting Nukavi, and I'm so excited. I'll put pictures up here of what it's going to look like. This is my first knit pattern test ever. I have only pattern tested crochet, but I have knit shawls before. Not of this particular style, but I've looked through the pattern and it looks approachable. Very excited to get started. But really why I bring that up is because that means I will have two sort of bigger, longer term projects going on at the same time. And I'm wondering how that's going to impact my filming schedule, because I do record a lot of like, here's an update on what I'm working on. And if I'm working on two large things, not a whole lot of updates to give. Good thing I'm in the process of wrapping up because the loud washing machine upstairs just started. Anyway, so you may, for the next couple of months, see fewer project update videos and more other types of videos. I'm not 100% sure. I have a mystery yarn coming in the mail that I would love to open on camera. I'm not big on like hauls or trying to, I don't know, show off large purchases or anything like that, but I love a mystery yarn, especially when I know it's going to be something I love. Like, I won't buy a true mystery yarn, but if it's a concept that I'm into, I will buy a mystery yarn. So once USPS decides that I deserve my mail, I will have that ready. Also, I know basically the Goths demand more knitting patterns, so Goth Knitting 2 has to come out in the next couple of months, I think. So that will be kind of a longer one. Those kind of videos take a long time for me to edit, but they are very worth it, I think. The pattern compilation videos. I'm also trying to get on an upload schedule. I'm trying for Friday nights because that's when I want to watch cozy crafting videos, is Friday nights specifically. Fridays feel right to me for some reason, so I'm trying to post on Fridays. However, I usually only have time to film on the weekends. Time and daylight. Daylight's kind of important. So my current plan is to film on a weekend, have all week to edit it, post on Friday. And that's a lot better than filming on Saturday, editing as fast as humanly possible, like in a daze for several hours, Saturday night or even Sunday, and then just posting as soon as I can. That has been my process. And it has been working out fine as far as like people seeing my videos, I guess. But it has been a little bit more stressful than I think it needs to be for me. So I will just fix that now before it gets worse. So in general, you can expect videos to be up on Fridays now. And I don't know if it's going to continue to be every week. I can't really guarantee anything just because this is a hobby and not my job. Things will come up. Something came up last weekend, you know. So I don't know. I feel like I've been putting things out at a pretty good pace, and that will probably continue mostly uninterrupted for the foreseeable future. I just think it will be cool to have an actual schedule and more editing time. I forgot something huge that I meant to talk about like 2 videos ago. Hold on. Okay, so by huge, I don't mean huge. I mean my first almost full-size skein of my hand spun yarn. It's so chunky that I feel like it looks like quite a small skein, but it is like 90 grams instead of 100. I was so close. But making everything on a singular drop spindle kind of limits how much you can make at any one time. So we have a bunch of different green tones applied with black, and the black has some little nylon threads in it that are multicolored. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but you can see that there's a little bit of like rainbow sparkle action going on in the black, which is super fun. I have no idea what I'm going to turn this into. I have a lot more of this fiber left to spin, so I want to get through all of that before I decide what to make with this. This is my 3rd or 4th time spinning ever, so I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's not the most consistent yarn in the world, but it's a huge improvement from this, which I still haven't used. I still love this. This was the scrap yarn that I made from brushing out a bunch of yarn scraps, so I knew this was going to end up kind of chunky and irregular, but I do love it. So I found out recently that you're not supposed to be spinning merino nylon blends like right off the bat. I found out there are easier things to learn to spin on, so I just bought the 3. I did buy 3 braids of BFL to do some more practice on, and this will be showing up soon. As if I have time to be spinning right now. I do not. I am on the waiting list for the miniature version of the, what's the popular brand of e-spinners? I don't know. They're out of stock right now. Someday I will own a spinning wheel. I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, but now I don't have a Facebook, and I don't know that people are posting spinning wheels on Craigslist. So basically, I think someday I'll become an estate sale person, and I will find one, and then I can become a truly devoted spinner. But until that happens, I will be spinning on my drop spindle exclusively and thinking about an e-spinner. I would love to get a Turkish drop spindle too. So that might be my next purchase. Anyway, this I plied up on New Year's Eve. It was my truly last project of 2024. I was working on this until like 11:30. So this is how I ended the year. And then the first day of this year, I came back to some dried yarn and hanged it up, and yeah, I'm thrilled. Now, before anyone says it, I have no idea what I was thinking buying black fiber with rainbow sparkles. I don't know that it's like me, but I'm gonna make something fun with it anyway. I do love it anyway. So I think that's it for today. This is just kind of a quick chatty update. Let me know what you're working on for sure. I want to know always. When I get comments referencing specific patterns that I haven't heard of before, I look them up. I want to know these things. Anyway, take care of your shoulders. Go and live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time. Bye.